actually do ICE raids and actually remove illegal alien criminals and illegal aliens. And my point is that, hey, Palisades, suck on this. You shouldn't get a penny until that law is rescinded, and that California is reverse sanctuary cities and working with federal officials to remove illegal alien invaders. Ma'am, your thoughts?
Well, that mindset shows you the problem right there. I mean, since President Trump had won the election, Gavin Newsom had been plotting, like you said, 50 million for their state DOJ, I believe half of it being itemized to actually block the deportations, the other half to sort of try to be a guidebook and sort of a blueprint for other states to resist the Trump agenda. But Steve, I think there's another layer to it as well, that a lot of these groups that are involved in the resistance efforts are receiving taxpayer dollars, right? Obviously, DHS has slow rolled and frozen some of the taxpayer funds that are going to these entities, but they still have sizable war chests, not just from the 4 years of the Biden regime. But you can see that group in particular, Steve, and I think it's important to note, right? The first wave of deportations, at least as sort of messaged by the Trump White House and the media, has been, we're just going after the criminals. Yes, obviously we need to expand that, but any deportation efforts that these groups are trying to block right now, they're trying to block the deportations of illegal aliens, right? And like I said, the information that we flashed on the screen, this is very detailed in terms of questions and statements and answers. You can see they're role playing what to do if an ICE agent comes to your door. This is extremely well funded.
Yeah, no, this is not just giving information. That's training right there. There's no doubt about it. Natalie, we'll let you go about your chores on a Saturday morning. Fabulous couple of weeks at the White House as a correspondent, breaking all kind of news, and particularly looking at the response to Days of Thunder. If you get a chance, make sure you look at the Stephanie Rule last night, because these are broken people. They don't have resilience. They have nowhere. They've always controlled the levers of institutional power. And once you take that, once you strip it away from them, they have absolutely nothing to stand on, including making an argument to the American people why President Trump should be slowed down. He's not going to be slowed down. Natalie, your social media so people can get you over the weekend.
Yes, the emperor has no clothes. Natalie G. Winters on all social media platforms. Thank you for having me on, Steve.
Natalie, thanks. See you on Monday. Natalie Winters, our White House correspondent. Fascinating couple of weeks. Very honored to be here. Can we get the shot? Is the shot good? Is the shot good right there? Can we broaden that shot? There we go, right there. The victim is identified. We're seeing here at Harvard, we got Kimo Gandel, a student over at Harvard Law School, right?
Yes.
Why are you so brave to come on the boardroom on a Saturday morning, Kimo? Tell me at Harvard Law, what are you studying? What year are you? And so we're going to dox Kimo here on television. And where do you come from? How'd you end up at Harvard?
Yeah, so I'm a 3L at Harvard. Kind of ended up there because I was working
3L
third year
law school.
Yeah, about to graduate.
The paper chase. That's first year law.
Yes,
law, right?
Correct.
So third year, you're more in you've already thrown up when you've been cold called the first time. And
yeah.
Through all the nerves.
Yeah. Cold calling, not too much of a big deal in my opinion. From a very practical standpoint, it's not graded usually, with the exception of a few professors. So does it matter? I think it's mostly a pride thing. They're trying to tear down students so they can build them back up. It's almost like a military exercise.
Like Marine Corps or like boot camp, right?
Precisely.
Is paper chase accurate? I mean, and not the stuff about the daughter and everything like that, but is Houseman's Amazing Professor, which he won the Academy Award for, is that was it Kingsbury?
Yeah. So
is that an accurate portrayal?
I think it is an accurate portrayal. I can't go into specifics because Harvard has a non-attribution policy. But yes, I do think it's accurate. And I think that's actually a good thing. I think we need to rub out the snowflakes from the law. People need to actually understand what they're talking about and be able to articulate the case law. And if they can't, they should get out.
And that's contract law, right?
Correct.
And contract law is the foundation of kind of everything at Harvard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's an edgy opinion. Some people think torts is the basis of law. I do agree, though. Most law, especially in the modern sense, is adjudicated through contract.
Tell me about your experience here, and particularly being a conservative. And people tell me you're actually pretty MAGA.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very MAGA.
How can you be MAGA at Harvard?
Well, I always openly talk about my opinions, and most of my colleagues are, they're very cordial about it, or they just don't have the willpower to confront me on it. A lot on the left, they're spiritually weak. They don't have any direction. That's kind of the essence of existentialism, right? You have to define it all for yourself.
What do you mean spiritually weak?
Yeah, they have no direct opinions about the meaning of life. They're just kind of aimless, and that is one problem that confronts a postmodern, I would call a religious. Sometimes they delve into paganistic or pseudo religious sentiments, but they have no actual direction in a higher good, which is what the natural law calls us to.
How did you get into Harvard? Did they have is the screening process here broken down? Seriously?
Yeah, no, I was very
They actually have folks like you.
Yeah, I was very upfront about what I believed. I've never tried to hide it. You can look up my
do you walk
name.
around here with security?
No, I don't, but maybe I should. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of these people, they're either decent in that they are just misled, or they're just spiritually weak and they don't confront you. And that's the entire reason we're seeing such a massive shift in the law, especially towards artificial intelligence, is it's able to provide articulated answers, and you don't have to pay these people's billables, which are ridiculous. $1,200 an hour for somebody to read a case. That's what we're looking at, and that's why the transformation's begun.
Hang over a second, because we're the home of the Luddites. We're the anti-transhumanists. What do you mean about? I keep telling people, hey, it's not going to be blue collar jobs. The first wave is going to be administrative, managerial, and mid tech. It's one of the many reasons I'm so against H-1B visas. But give your experience as a person in Harvard Law at third year. You're looking to go into the job market. Talk to me about artificial intelligence, even for a guy in your situation.
Yeah. So great question. In fact, I love the show's take on that because it confronts kind of the incidental versus intrinsic problem with artificial intelligence. I think what you've pointed out is a lot of the current companies that control the large language models practice objectively evil standards. So they're adamantly against the president. They're adamantly opposed to the natural law, and they will actively censor those opinions. Now, they've rolled it back a bit simply because the positions of power have changed, but you could bet that if Kamala Harris won the presidency, we would see much stronger security features with large language models like OpenAI with Sam Altman. And it's kind of a sad world we live in.
Slow down for a second. Hang on. Explain that. I just want to make sure the audience understands this. Hit rewind and give me that again.
Yeah, so a lot of these large language models have security features built into them, either through reinforcement training or actually how O1 and O3 works with OpenAI. They're different models, is they actually reprompt it. So when your call goes in your query, right, you type something into the chatbot, they will actually reprompt it on their end. And that allows them to give a safe answer. It's also how when you ask ChatGPT something, it'll often say, sorry, I can't give you an answer for that.
This is how, if you type in on DeepSeek and talk about Tiananmen Square, it comes up and gives you some. It's a beautiful day on 4 June in Beijing, correct?
Yeah, no, exactly. DeepSeek, it's kind of a scary world where Mark Zuckerberg is kind of our height of open sourced software for large language models.
Mark Zuckerberg, I might add, was right over here in the houses, what are called dorms. What the dorms are called here at Harvard. Is he not? His ethical and moral training came from Harvard, did it not, sir?
Yeah, it definitely. Well, at least the undergrad school. I like to think at the law school we have some higher standards of ethics. Maybe not, though. Actually, we've seen a lot of terrible things come out of that school as well, but also great things. And so what I think when it comes down to ethics, right, the problem with the intelligentsia in this country is that they are generally existentially led. And I do think our generation's beginning.
What does that mean, existentially led?
They see as a function of their pride, they try to define the world in their image, which is